Here are 7 lessons that I learned in 2025 that can change your whole new year experience in 2026. Welcome to Experience Life with Visa, or welcome back if you have been here before. If you are looking to improve your relationships with people, improve your quality of life, and change your attitude towards life from negative to positive, then this is the video for you. Thank you for joining me today, and let's get started. By the way, quick side note, you might hear a bunch of noises. My cat is having the zoomies right now, so she's running back and forth, and touching all these things. See, so just just beware. Lesson number 1. There is no right time to start. For a long time, since I was like 18 years old, Instagram, Facebook, everything existed then. I've been really wanting to create a music account. What held me back? I didn't think that I was good enough. But you know what? Every single successful music artist, every successful entrepreneur, every successful artist, anyone who you might consider successful started somewhere. It takes some people years to get to where they want to be. But here's the thing, is they don't give up and they start small. Starting small is the way to go. You don't have to be this extraordinary musician or this extraordinary artist to put your stuff out there. The point is, you start and you create momentum and you keep it going and keep it going. And before you know it, you're going to start collecting more followers. More people will be interested in your stuff. And you know what? Some people might not be interested in your stuff too, and people will always have things to say. But what's great about you is you keep going and you keep putting yourself out there. And you know what? That's not something every single person out there can do. The people who comment negative on your page, remember that they're sitting behind a screen. 90% of the time, they will never be able to say that to you in person. But you are putting yourself out there and you're making yourself vulnerable and you're letting the world perceive you and see you. That in itself is already great. So you have to start, even starting small is great. Starting with posting one video, for instance, if you're a singer, right? Posting one video with you singing a verse and a chorus. And don't record more than like 3 times, okay? Because if you're going to keep recording, you're going to overthink it, you're never going to post. You want to record 3 times, choose your best take and just put it out there. It might not be perfect, and you know what? That's fine, because the more that you do it, the better that you get at it. That's the only way that you're going to learn. That's with everything in life, every single thing in life. For instance, math, right? Math was a subject in school that we all learned. Do you think every single student, if you give them a page, they've never seen math before, let's say, right? And you give them a page full of math problems, do you think that person will be able to solve them? No, because they have to learn something about math first so that they can do the math. Even when they are given problems that they finally learn, they make a million mistakes. They make a million mistakes, but they only get better with practice and practice and practice. Musicians go through this, artists go through this, anyone who owns a business goes through this, even though anybody who works for somebody goes through this. You never start perfect with anything that you do. But what's important is you have to start. You have to start. Because if you start somewhere, you already started your career. You don't even realize it, but I promise you, you already started your career. You already started developing your skill. But you have to keep going. You cannot stop. Lesson 2. This ties in with lesson 1. Big changes kill consistency, but small changes can transform your life. If you want to be consistent, you have to start small. When you try to create big changes, you can actually end up overwhelming yourself. So, for instance, let's say you want to be a runner and you want to run a marathon. So, you've never ran before. All of a sudden, you decide, okay, I'm going to run a mile today. The next day, you wake up, your whole body is sore and you're crying on the floor, and you're like, I can't do this, I want to give up. Of course, you're going to feel that way. You've never run before and you push yourself to run a mile. After that, you can't breathe and your muscles are crying for help because your body has not built that skill yet. Your muscles are not used to the sport. But in order to build that skill, in order to get better at it, you have to start small. You can even start running 1 minute a day, okay? Don't worry about the distance. 1 minute a day, even less than that, doesn't matter. But you're starting small, And then the next day you might add a few seconds or another minute. However, everybody's different. There's no right or wrong way, okay? But you need to challenge yourself, but start small. Start small. Eventually, I promise you, those small things turn into something big, and one day you won't even recognize yourself. You're gonna go into beast mode. But in order to enter beast mode, you have to start small. Small changes are manageable. And small changes actually help you build more trust in yourself because you learn your capabilities, you learn your limits, but you also learn to push your limits a little bit at a time. Progress is not linear. If, let's say, you take 3 steps forward, you might take a step back. That's fine. But you have to keep looking forward and you have to try to keep going forward. Falling off does not mean failing. Get back on. It's not a problem. You can get back on. Nobody's holding you back. Only person holding you back is you. Continue small. The small will turn big. Consistency is what's going to beat intensity, and consistency is what is going to develop your skill. We don't start perfect. We might not ever reach perfection, but that's the whole point. Lesson number 3. Do not rush life. Presence is everything. Presence is everything. You know what I realized the more and more time passes? I have this fear inside of me sometimes, and I will fully 100% admit. And this fear in me is like, oh gosh, something is about to happen, or something might happen that can just change my whole life completely so quick within a blink of an eye. And you know what? It's true. At any single moment, anything can happen. There is only one thing in life that is 100% guaranteed, and that's our death. I do not say that to be negative. I say that because you need to realize that and you need to accept it right now. Because that will make you realize you can't wait. You cannot wait. And you have to appreciate every single small moment that passes. If a stranger smiles you at the street, that is worth appreciating. If you made a small little accomplishment today, that is worth appreciating. If you made one little step towards your goal, you have to appreciate that right now because you don't know if we're going to be here tomorrow. Do you want to die feeling like you haven't done enough in life and feeling sad about yourself? Or do you want to die knowing that at least I tried? At least I tried, and at least I saw the beauty in life. At least I got to embrace the beauty in life. There is a lot of beauty in life. If you just go outside and spend 5 minutes with nature, okay? Just look around, observe 5 things. Let yourself observe 5 things. Anything could be 5 green things, it could be 5 orange things, it could be 5 birds, it doesn't matter. Observe 5 things. I guarantee you, you will find at least one thing that's very beautiful that stands out to you. I'm telling you, man, the more I spend time with nature, the more I feel grounded, and the more I realize that, social media will not always show you this. You won't always see the beautiful things in life and the complexities in life. You always see the negative because that is what, brings them people. People are drawn to that. I don't know. It's very complex within itself, but there are so many beautiful things in life. But you have to allow yourself to go and see it. So, coming back to the main point, that presence really is everything. You have to realize that right now. Screw the materialistic things, screw money, screw all that, whatever. If it was your last moment right now, how would you live it? Lesson number 4. Comparison will kill your career before it even starts. It's kind of funny to me because when I look at all of this, it all connects with each other, all of my lessons. Let me say this. Before I even stepped my first time on stage, I compared myself to all these huge singers, all these popular singers that everybody knows, okay? And I was like, gosh, I cannot sing like them. How can I go in public? People are going to judge me. People are going to say this about me. I am going to face a lot of public humiliation because I'm not reaching specific standards. And you know what? These standards I created for myself. But these standards are so unrealistic because how the heck am I supposed to learn how to sing and how to express myself freely if I don't even give myself the opportunity to do so? We have to make the mistakes. We have to learn through those mistakes, and then we become better versions of ourselves. Comparing yourself to someone else is so unrealistic because the path that they had is not the same exact path as yours. That doesn't diminish the things that you went through, and it doesn't diminish the things that they went through. But you have to understand, when you compare yourself to somebody else, it turns life into a competition instead of a journey. Learning from someone is not the same as comparing yourself to them. This is why we have mentors and we have guides and we have teachers and we have parents and grandparents. We look at them and we learn from them. We don't compare ourselves to them. We learn from them. We learn from their mistakes. We learn from their teachings, from their guidance. That's one thing. So to look at a singer and learn from their skill is one thing. But to look at a singer and feel jealous and envy or tell yourself that you're not good enough because they have the skill and you don't, that is ending your career before it even starts. If you live through somebody else's potential, you will remain stuck. In order to slowly stop yourself from comparing, you have to allow yourself and be open to learning from others, to learning from their careers, and understand that you are on your own journey. You are not meant to be like somebody else. You're not supposed to be like somebody else. There is only one version of you. There is only one version of you. Develop yourself. That is such a beautiful part of life, is that you get to be different from everybody else. And that is not a bad thing. Different is not bad. Lesson number 5: facing your fears will trigger exponential growth. Every single time you face a fear that you have, even a little bit, you're going to grow immensely. You're going to speed your growth process. A huge part of facing my fear for me is just stepping on that stage. I'm telling you, even to this day, the amount of times I stepped on stage, I already kind of like lost count. I still experience, like, some fear and some anxiety, but I do it anyway. And for me, it's facing my fears. I'm facing this anxiety. I'm facing this part of me that's like, maybe you shouldn't do that, or maybe people are gonna judge you on stage, because I know that I'm going to step on that stage and I'm going to learn so much about myself. I learn my limits and I actually discover that the limits that I thought I had are not the limits that I actually have. I push past the limits every single time I face my fear, every single time I step on that stage. And yes, it gets better. Yes, I still experience anxiety, but it got so much better with time, because now I feel so much more confident and free on stage. And I understand that I'm not supposed to be perfect, but every single time I do step on that stage, I feel much more confident in myself and my abilities, because I know I did the work. I put in the work to be standing there, right? In that moment. Afterwards, I take a deep breath and I exhale, and I'm like, wow, that actually wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. But this happens, like, the more you do it. You have to face your fears. You have to allow yourself to make a fool out of yourself. I'm not even kidding. There were moments I even forgot some of my lines on stage or forgot the music, but you know what? I kept going, and I'm like, next time I'm going to do better. At least I stood on the stage. I didn't even think I could stand on the stage, and then I got out on the stage and I did it. Like, that's huge. That already is a part of growing, okay? Part of becoming a better version of myself. Once I couldn't do that, and now I can. That's the whole point. For everybody, it looks different, but start facing your fears, and it could start small. I'm not saying go out there and hurt yourself, but if facing your fears means just being around people, you could be around people for a few minutes, then go home, then do it again, go to a coffee shop, sit around people for a little longer than you did before, go home. I'm being so serious. You're facing your fears. You're growing the more that you do this. You realize that the limits and the standards that you set for yourself, they don't exist. They don't exist. The more that you face your fears, they start to dissipate. They start to disappear. Lesson number 6: you learn the most about yourself when you judge others. Judging somebody else comes from a place of insecurity. And let me explain. Let's say I come across someone, or someone in my family, for instance, has a really messy room. I don't really know what goes through their mind. All I see is this messy room. And based on the surface, right? Judging based on the surface level and what I see, and I'm like, oh God, like, oh, it's so messy in here, whatever, whatever. That actually says a lot about myself too, because I have this fear of my room being disorganized, or something in my room just not being in the place that it has to, that I would like it to be. This is an insecurity of mine. I'm projecting my own insecurity onto this person, and that isn't really fair. So, but by acknowledging that, by realizing that, I learned about myself. And I realized, okay, organization is important to me. This is where it's coming from. It's because I'm afraid of being disorganized. It's my problem. It's not their problem. It's my problem. Just I don't feel comfortable when I do it, and that's fine. Another person's allowed to live their life how they want and have these experiences for themselves. That has nothing to do with me. But if I do go out and I judge them, I realize there's actually some like deep rooted insecurity in me that I am projecting onto them. Gossiping about other people, like all of this stuff, it all comes back to there's actually something about yourself that you don't like or that you're afraid of, and that's why you're going out there and you're judging other people. Now, that's not to like bash you or tell you you're a horrible person, but realizing this can actually really help you change your life and shed light on some perspective. And the fact that every single person goes through so many different things in life that we are unaware of, and having this compassion is actually extremely important because then we end up having more compassion for ourselves when we make mistakes, when we acknowledge our own, little flaws and our own little things, our own little quirks, or whatever. Hey guys, as I'm editing this video, I just wanted to quickly add to this part and say that if I reached true inner peace and I was totally okay with myself, organized, disorganized, whatever it may be, I would not be looking at someone else and saying they are a certain way or they are this or they are that, or ask myself, why are they like this? Why are they this? Why? Or feeling this need to control my surroundings. I wouldn't have that if I truly felt inner peace. So my whole point is when you are judging someone else for something, you have something in yourself that you haven't resolved yet. So you let it out on other people and you don't even realize it. And listen, what you can do about it when you start to feel these things, when you start to feel like you're about to judge someone else, acknowledge it. Because when you're judging someone else, actually, believe it or not, you're not just bringing negativity upon other people, but you're also bringing negativity upon yourself and you're increasing your stress levels. So you want to reduce those stress levels. You want to start acknowledging when you have those kind of feelings. And then things will get better for you. I promise. I promise. Inner peace is so important. Anyway, back to the video. Lesson number 7. And this is actually, I think, one of the hardest things for me to accept. Peace grows when control loosens. You cannot control the world, you cannot control people, and you cannot control outcomes. And you perhaps cannot even control how you feel in the moment. But what you can control is your response and how you react. For instance, there's a lot of like crazy things happening in the world right now and in the past and in the future as well. We're going to see a lot of bad things on the news and politics, division. You got to see left or you got to see right. And that stuff like really makes me very anxious and sometimes irritates me because I like to stay open minded. And the way that politics work, they tell you have to either see left or you have to either see right, or you got to be, or you're wrong if you don't see either one. Like you just can't go right. And I get so frustrated, and sometimes I just want to, I'll be just like completely honest, I just want to yell and say you're wrong. You're wrong in the way that you think or whatever. But then I realize you have to take a step back. When you feel something, allow yourself to feel it, and then you got to take a step back and try. I know it's not an easy thing to do, but you have to for a moment put yourself as if you're an outsider. Put yourself in another person's shoes and look at your situation. See how you're feeling. And realize that what triggered this is out of your control. So, like these politics and how people think and how people, when the things that people say, it's out of my control. So, me yelling and me like putting this kind of energy out there is not going to solve the problem. It's actually going to add fuel to the problem. And you realize this, then eventually you can actually set yourself free from this burden of trying to make every single person understand you and see your point of view. And also you free yourself from causing chaos in your own body. Like when you're angry, it's normal to feel that, acknowledge the feeling, but you have to learn how to let that anger go in a healthy way. You cannot hold on to it because it will cause a lot of health issues that you didn't even think that you could possibly develop. So you can't control the world, you can't control people, you can't control outcomes, you can't even, always control how you feel, but you can take a step back and you realize that you are in control of how you react to these things. Once you realize that, then you can simmer yourself down. And I love this analogy of like when you look at boiling water, right? You can't see clearly through boiling water. That boiling water is you when you're angry. When you're angry, you can't see clearly. You can't. You have to calm yourself down. And once that boiling water calms down, then you can see through the water, right? And it's the same thing with you and with life. When you calm yourself down, when you calm down your nervous system, then you can see things more clearly and you see things as they are. You don't see things on a surface level anymore. You see things as they are. Those I feel like are the main 7 lessons I learned in 2025 that I think could perhaps change your life as well if you take at least one of them with you into 2026 going forward. Don't worry about it not being January 1st or whatever. The moment to start is right now. You saw this video, you listened carefully to me. Thank you for listening to me, by the way. Take at least one thing that maybe I told you. You will thank yourself later. You will thank yourself. You will better yourself as a person, and you will better your relationships with people, and you also better your relationship with the world, and not just with people, with your surroundings, with everything around you. Reduce your stress levels, feel more love, more compassion for yourself and for others. Listen up, folks. I hope you have an incredible year ahead. I know there's so many exciting things coming your way. And yes, you might experience some bad things too, but you have to understand that the bad things are actually going to help you see what's good. It will help you see the light. I promise you. I know it doesn't feel like it in the moment, but be patient with yourself. You will get through it. Take good care of yourself. That is super important. Okay? And I will see you next time in my next video. Thanks again for watching. Bye.